5 licks you should practice every day to become better at guitar. Here are 3 scales you need to practice every day to become a shred master. Use these scales to sound super exotic. 4 exercises for you to not sound like an amateur. Sorry, no, can't have it. Let's be honest, we all have these kinds of videos in our recommendations on YouTube, right? But I'm here to tell you why these exercises don't work for you, why they didn't work for me, and what actually makes you a better guitar player. Spoiler alert, it's not exercise. Well, it's a wild world out there on YouTube, isn't it? At least my recommendations are full of people trying to sell me the idea that their workout routine, their daily habits, and their rituals are the best to live your absolute best life, to optimize yourself, and to be the best version of yourself, to be better every single day, right? Right? Well, not so sure about that when it comes to actually making music. Because lately what I've seen on the good old YouTube is a lot of people trying to tell you that you should do a couple of exercises every day on the fretboard, a couple of scales you should play every day to become the best guitarist you can be. And I look at all these videos and all I can ask is why? Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody take an instrument? I mean, like, look. Why would somebody take an instrument like this, a beautiful, beautiful Les Paul? I mean, it already makes you want to play, right? It just looks that cool. It looks like Jimmy Page, looks like Gary Moore, it looks like Slash. And you just want to play this thing. And then you find some videos on YouTube where they're trying to tell you should absolutely practice this scale every single day
to become the best version of yourself, the best guitar player, the best shredder, the best whatever you want to be.
So let's be real here, guys. What we're trying to do is actually make music, right? I believe the very reason why we all gravitated towards this is because we were so excited about music and we wanted to make music ourselves. But practicing scales, as you can maybe hear, is not actually making music, right? So all jokes aside, exercise in itself is obviously great. It makes you better to some degree. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, if you wanna be a better guitar player, just tons of exercise is not gonna get you there. How do I know that's true? Well, I was in the same exact situation. I was 7 years old, hyperactive child, didn't know much about sports, didn't like sports, didn't want to play football with all the other guys. I just wanted to play guitar. That was the one thing where I felt really alive. That was the one thing that was my thing. That was the one thing where I could do whatever I wanted to. Now imagine that 7-year-old small little Joey that just wanted to have his freedom with his instrument would have had a teacher that told him what to do every single day. These are the scales you're gonna practice today, Joey. These are the licks you're gonna play today, Joey. These are the things you have to know how to play by next week, Joey. I would have just quit. There's absolutely no way I'd be a guitarist today had that been the case. I just played whatever I felt like playing. And because it was so much fun, I kept at it. And because I kept at it, I played guitar for thousands and thousands of hours. Sometimes in the morning, as a kid, my mom would try and wake me up, but I was already awake sitting on my bed playing guitar. Why? Because I loved it so much. Because nobody told me what to do. Nobody told me what to practice. I could just play, noodle around, play a solo, play a couple chords, and I'd be fine. And that's how I improved. Alright, enough story time for today. This is how you actually get better at guitar, in my opinion. First, we need to stop generalizing. So whenever we see these videos on YouTube, here's the 5 things you should do these 3 exercises every day, we need to understand that there is not just one way to do something. So for instance, I've been playing guitar for 25 years, and I've been playing professionally for 10 years. I have never played through most of the exercises that I've seen on YouTube. Or here's another example. Let's say you want to lose weight. There's people who can lose weight by going to the gym 4 times a week, and there's people who can lose weight because they're just do intermittent fasting. And while these 2 things are super different, both of these will make you lose weight, right? And there's a million other examples for that. But coming back to the guitar topic, it actually works the same way. You can become a better guitar player by practicing the blues scale, and you can become a better guitar player by practicing chords. So there just isn't this one preconceived notion of things that you have to do in order to become better. So stop generalizing. The second thing you should do to become a better guitar player is actually stop being so hard on yourself. It's okay to not touch a guitar for a couple days. It's okay to just noodle around all day. It's okay to just play a couple licks and then put the guitar aside. It's also okay to go on vacation and not play for 2 weeks straight. Hell, it's even okay to not play for an entire month. It's absolutely okay. We're making music here. We're not in a competition. And I feel like this can't be stated enough because I talk to a lot of guitar players who ask me questions on Instagram. And they're so hard on themselves. They're like, I've been practicing this for 5 years and I still can't play, I don't know, Sweet Child of Mine, the solo. And I'm like, Slash couldn't play Sweet Child of Mine after 5 years of playing guitar. Stop being so hard on yourself. Enjoy playing guitar. You cannot know a million scales and things to play and still get by. You can still have fun, right? You can still noodle around, play a couple blues licks, whatever you're into. Actually, the harder you are on yourself, the harder it actually gets to improve because you're cramping and you're just completely focused on it and you're not relaxed. Relax. Relax. No, seriously, it's good. You're a guitar player, and that's already the greatest thing in the world because you're making music. Isn't that good enough? I think so. Third thing that actually makes you a better guitar player: know yourself. As corny as that sounds, it's actually true. Just the other day, I watched the interview with Dave Grohl on 60 Minutes, and Dave was asked, do you ever practice alone? And he says, hell no, I can't practice alone. I always have to play with other musicians. I never practice by myself. And that is actually one very, very important point. You need to know yourself to actually stick to something. So if you know you're enjoying playing by yourself, then this is what you should do. If you know you can't play without a backing track, first thing you should actually do when you practice is find a backing track for yourself, because at the end of the day, what will get you better is keeping at it, like having a continuous relationship with your instrument. And by relationship, I don't mean anything romantic, guys. But what I really mean is, if you know you're the kind of person that enjoys playing by yourself, that's what you should do. But if you're like me and you need some musical context to actually get going, playing by yourself will not do anything, because if I just noodle around all day without any musical context, my creativity goes right out of the window. And that is important to know. Know what you need to actually keep at it. And when you do that, and you can keep at it for hours and hours and hours on end, that's how you know you're gonna get better, because playing that many hours will definitely get you there. Tip number 4 on how to actually become a better guitar player is being aware of what we're actually trying to do here, and that is making music. So let's just say I'm gonna do an exercise here that is in all the different YouTube videos. I think it's called the spider exercise, and it goes something like this. And now let's just listen at what we're actually playing here. Let's just listen. Guys, seriously, does that sound anything like music? Because I personally believe it doesn't. Now, obviously, I do get what this exercise is about. When you're a beginner, you don't have much strength in your finger and you want to train all your fingers equally, that might be a good exercise to do. But there's just more musical ways to do this. Let's just say I'm warming up and I want to use all my fingers. Here's something that I could play. See, I used all my fingers. I had a groove, I had a beat, it sounded bluesy, it was kind of danceable, if you will. You don't have to practice weird scales and shapes of things because they will train your fingers equally. You can play whatever you want to play as long as you enjoy doing that. That's the way to keep at it. That's the way to stay consistent. And when you play consistently, that's when you improve. And now for the 5th and final tip on how to actually become a better guitar player. It's the one that is actually dearest to my heart and the one that I'm always giving to people that ask me how to become a better guitar player. It's the very simple concept of having fun. Why is fun so important when we play guitar, when we practice, when we exercise? The rule of 10,000 hours pretty much says to become good at something, you have to do it for at least 10,000 hours. And my question would be, what are we willing to do 10,000 hours? Probably something that is fun, right? And that is why the number one goal you should have if you want to become better at guitar or anything for that matter is you need to have fun doing it. And you just learned how to keep it fun with the last 4 tips that I gave you. And if you consider all these things, that's when you're actually gonna have fun. And if you're having fun, I guarantee you'll make these 10,000 hours sooner rather than later. And with the 10,000 hours, that's how you actually become a better guitar player. All right, I guess that's enough for today. I guess I got my point across. I just told you how to be a better guitar player without actually practicing. Isn't that great? I actually had a blast doing this, and I hope less and less of you get fooled by all these generalized YouTube videos about what you should play every day. And now, have fun playing whatever you like.